So, hello everyone. How is everybody doing out there in Facebook land? It is Wednesday, and it's about lunchtime, maybe a little bit after lunchtime, depending where you're at. It could be even 5 o'clock. I'm not even sure. Yeah,
5 o'clock somewhere.
Always 5 o'clock somewhere. And today, like I said, it's Wednesday. We know Wednesday is hump day. It's the day that you're just trying to make it over the hump to get to Friday so you can party it up. But we're going to start a little bit early, and we're going to do a little bit of Battle of the Brushes. My name is Martha Tello Rosser. I am out in the Austin, Texas area. I am a licensed massage therapist. I am also the owner of The Root of Beauty, which is a luxury hair and makeup business that I do out here in the Austin area. I've been in the beauty industry for over 20 years. That does age me. So I'm still young though, don't tell anybody. But I've been doing this for over 20 years and I am super excited because we're going to be sharing some tips and tricks today. And then of course I have my ride or die, my sister from another mister, a great friend that I got to come in contact with through this business. I didn't know her prior to this, but whenever I registered my business with Motos Cosmetics, she is somebody that I ran into and we became great friends. So I'm super excited to be battling it out with LaVerne Castillo. So LaVerne, tell us a little bit about you before we get started.
Yes, it's on, girl. We are about to battle it out for the brushes. So I just wanted to welcome everybody to the live today. My name is LaVerne Castillo, and I'm the owner of Brush by LaVerne. I'm also a makeup artist and esthetician based out of the Phoenix area. Yes, go Suns. I know we took a big loss last night, but it's okay. We love our Phoenix Suns. But yeah, so I've been in the industry for over 17 years. I really love to make women look and feel beautiful and educate everyone, especially on our amazing products. So I am excited to share with you guys today what we have in store and to just thank you all for joining us today.
Yeah, so we're going to be using a particular palette. And this palette is kind of like an all-in-one. So if you're traveling, if you're, going out and about in the world and seeing things, because, last year we were locked up. So we're getting out and about. But this one has a bronzer in here that you can contour with it. There's a blush, there's highlighter, and there's 8 beautiful shades. These shades are even good enough that you can do your brows with it. So if you don't want to take everything under the sun with you, this is a great palette to take with you. So we're going to be doing 2 different looks. LaVerne is always more on like the natural in the brown family. Usually her pop of color comes from her lips. And me, I don't care. I'll wear whatever color under the sun, on the eyes, on the cheeks, on the lips. I mean, you might even catch me sometimes with black lipstick, blue lipstick, whatever, my poor husband. But so she's going to be doing a little bit of natural color, using more of like the maroon family. And I'm going to be using a little bit of the browns, but I'm going to use this pop of blue here. So LaVerne, I'm going to actually let you get started. And then after you do a couple of steps, I'm going to do a couple of steps. And then if y'all have any questions or anything, let us know in the comments. We are going to have one of our guests that you cannot see in the background. She'll be answering questions. And if we see some, we'll answer them as well if we can.
Perfect. So in order for me to get started, I'm actually going to use our eye base. This eye base is amazing, creamy, but it little goes a very, very long ways. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my eye base. I love to actually really contour right underneath the brow to make the brow really, really sharp. And I clean it up mostly with my eye base. So I'm going to go ahead and start by just kind of cleaning up the bottom of my brow and then placing the eye base all over the lid before I apply the eyeshadow.
So that's a great little tip. So I'm going to do that as well. Let me get my little brush. And like LaVerne was saying, a little bit goes a long way. Okay. And she's going to blend that sucker out. So if you can see it, it's a little bit too much. I'm going to cut my little brows too while she's doing that.
So I usually,
go ahead.
I usually apply right underneath so I could get that really strong brow look. And then what I do is I just blend it down onto the eyelid and it pretty much dries almost like a powder. So you can now see that it is no longer looking like too much. It's just really just covering the base of the eye. I'm going to go ahead and do the other one.
LaVerne's using a bigger brush than I am. I couldn't find my little flat concealer brush. So I'm actually using our Motives lip brush. It's a little synthetic brush. It is a little bitty tip, so it's going to take me a minute to blend this bad boy out. We do have a synthetic concealer brush, but I couldn't find it.
I have used that brush though. I have used that brush, the lip brush, to also do the same technique that I'm using right now instead of this little flat brush. So pretty much anything with a smaller tip, you could really control where you're placing the product. So.
An eye base, you know, eye base is something that a lot of people still don't use. What an eye base is going to do, it's going to kind of prep the area to get ready to receive the color. Sometimes some of us have lids that tend to be like purple, or they have like their blue tinge to it. They're not just a solid color. And sometimes we have discolorations from products that, you know, have caused discolorations, or maybe even medications that have caused discolorations. So this is good to kind of like even out the whole entire lid and prepare for that color. This also makes it long wearing. Some people sometimes use a little bit of a concealer, but you do have to be careful with a concealer because the concealer is a little bit creamier consistency. So concealer is really good under the eyes, not so much here on the eyelid because of the creaminess of it. It tends to make the eyeshadow crease sometimes. So an eye base that lays down matte is always a great way to go.
Yes. And it's funny because back in the day, I mean, eye base really wasn't huge. You know, no one really talked about it, or at least back in the day when I started wearing makeup. But it really does help to keep the true pigment of the eyeshadow and to make it long lasting, like you said, Martha, because if you do use the concealer, like she said, it'll crease up. If you have more of that oily skin, you're going to automatically see that line where you place that eyeshadow, and it almost looks like you never blended it. So our eye base almost dries like a powder. So it's just ready to be, you know, for the eyeshadow to be placed on it. I'm done with my, I'm done with my eye base on both of my eyes. I'm going to go ahead and start my eyeshadow look, which is going to be a smoky eye using our colors Rhythm and Frisky. So I'm going to start with the base though, which is Sass. So it's kind of more of our taupe color. And I'm going to do that right in the crease of my lid.
That is such a pretty color. So she's going to use Sass, which is
yes.
Here.
Sass, I almost feel like you could even use to contour the nose a little bit, you know, like it's such a versatile palette that you could use a lot of the colors. Like Martha said, you could use the deeper color, which is the Hottie, which is that darker brown. You could even use that on the actual eyebrow. But that's what I love about this palette is there's so many versatile colors on here that you could use throughout the whole face without having to take your whole makeup counter with you.
Right. I'm going to do that while you're doing your eye. I'm going to put Sass right here to contour my nose a little bit. My nose is crooked, so y'all don't tell anybody out there. You know, that's secrets between us chickens that are watching. the thousands and thousands of people now know that my nose is crooked. Thank you. And I also have like a little bump that it's crooked. It goes this way, but I also have a little bump right here. So most people would contour, their nose all the way straight down. I actually don't contour the whole entire thing on this side. I just contour that little bump to make that bump less visible. Weird, right? You know, but you got to do what you got to do. My nose just happens to be crooked and has a bump in it. That Tello nose. It's
that Tello nose. That's how we know you, girl. But that's so because I'm using the Sass on this brush, I'm gonna go ahead and just move to my nose since I already have that color on this brush. And I'm gonna go ahead and contour my nose a little bit with the Sass. And you could kind of see, I really like, I kind of have a wider nose at the bottom. So I'd like to like make it look super skinny in the center. So I just go straight from the top of my brow and I kind of blend it into the brow area. And then I come straight down the center to give me that illusion of a skinnier nose.
Right. Well, while you do that, I'm going to use sass in my crease as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the sass here.
And wouldn't you say that sass would be pretty much the color to start with anyways, depending on what look you're using? It's almost like one of those base colors where you're just creating that illusion.
Right. I think it's a really great color, very versatile. And it's pigmented enough to do what needs to be done in this little crease area to add a little depth. And it's a really good color. So as you can tell, it's just a very light washing of color that I'm doing.
Okay, so I'm finishing up with the sass on my nose and on the crease of my eye. And now I'm going to go in with Rhythm, which is this top maroonish color. And it's a matte, it's not shimmer, so it's matte. So I'm going to place that all over the lid of my eye. And I'm going to kind of press that into the eye rather than move the product around because I really want to place it exactly where I want it to be.
So this is the one that she's using, Rhythm, right here. So she started off with sass. She put that in the crease, and then she used a little bit of the sass to contour the nose. And then now she's moving over here with Rhythm, which is, again, is a matte shade. And she's going all over the lid here. So this in the crease, this all over the lid. And she's just going to pat, 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 pat.
Yes, because I don't want to move the product around. I just want to pat it right into the lid of my eye.
So pretty, and it's super pigmented. It doesn't take a lot. This is my personal palette, so I'm going to stick my finger in it. If this is not, I would not stick my finger in it, just so y'all know. So it's a very good pigment that you got here. And I've mixed this with this color for a little bit of blush too. I'm a mixer. I mix things together.
Yes. This palette has honestly been to every event with me because there's at least one color or something in it that I need at all times. So I just love to take this palette with me for any event that I do.
I couldn't tell. Your palette has hit pan in some of them. So
well,
I think it's a favorite.
Well, this is my personal one. So this personal one has been through the ringer.
Love it. That's a good sign though, that, you know, you've hit pan on it means that you use it like quite often.
But isn't that the thing is like when you buy a palette, right? Mm-hmm. And you buy millions of palettes and you barely use one color out of it. Like I'm the type that's going to find a palette that I really love that I could use at all times. And I'm going to finish it. Like that's.
Right. That's awesome. And are you using a flat brush? What kind of brush are you using?
Yeah, it's almost like a flat brush. So it's thin.
I see it.
So it's just something that, and this is actually one of our Motives brushes. Nice. But yeah, I'm just patting it right in with the flat end of it. And depending on like, I actually put product on both sides because you could kind of see, so I don't have to keep dipping it into the actual product. I'm putting it on both sides. So that way when I'm done patting one side in, I'll just flip it around and then use the other product on the other side.
Nice. Very pretty. Looks really good so far. Any questions out there? This is a great, like I said, keep saying it's a great, great palette to use. There's so many versatile things that you can do with it. Well, while she's finishing up that eye, I'm actually going to start kind of buffing a little bit more color into the look that I'll be doing. So I'm actually using one of our Motives very fluffy blending brushes. And I'm going to build. I like to build on top of the eyeshadow to give it a very like smoked out buffed look. So I'm actually going to use a little bit of this contour color, and I'm going to buff this out a little bit lower than the crease. I'm going to go a little bit lower under here just to create a little bit of depth.
Yeah, and I love this blending brush. Like I have at least 10 of these, especially when you're using different colors. And you want every color to be true, right? And if you mix it with other colors, it doesn't come out the way you're going to want it to. So I like to use, if I'm using a different color, I usually use a different blending brush. You could kind of see on my eye, I actually started to blend out that maroon because I don't want it to be so blunt like that. I want it to actually look smoky and blended out. So right now I'm just blending out the maroon that I just put on, and it's actually rhythm. I shouldn't say maroon, it's called rhythm. And I'm just blending it out into my eye before I place the other color.
And this one that I'm blending into, the contour color, I'm building it. So I'm only putting a tiny bit, and then I'm going to buff it in there. And then I go back and grab a little bit more and I build on it. So see how I already have a lot of depth in there, but I'm just going a little bit at a time. I don't want to overdo it.
Are you still using SAS, Martha?
No, I'm using the contour color.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I'm going in here just to create a little bit of depth. I guess I'm going to show y'all again. I told y'all my nose was crooked. And this time I'm going to show you about my lids here. So if you look, I have a lot more real estate on this bottom lid over here than I do on this one. So I always have to be mindful of that, just because if I bring the color down too much on this one over here, I tend to lose the real estate because I have more real estate here. So you always have to pay attention.
You know your face, girl.
Yeah, so you have to kind of pay attention to, you know, everybody has their own little things on their own particular face, and what you do on this side might not work on this side. So, you know, just be mindful of that, and that's totally okay. But I like to point it out because, you know, people think that it's perfection every time. No, whenever I take a picture, I tilt my head just a little bit so that my eyebrow and my eyelid look like they're even. So that's just a little trick. So whenever you see a picture of me, my eyebrows look, you know, straight across, but they're really not. So like I said, we all got our little quirks.
They're sisters, not twins. So
exactly.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish off the eyeshadow colors on my eyes, my smoky eye look. And I'm going to use the Frisky. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it right back onto the same part where I put the rhythm, except the Frisky has a little bit of shimmer to it. So it's going to give it a little bit more pop. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did with that other color and just press it right into the lower part of the lid.
So this is Frisky right here. This is such a gorgeous color. Again, this is my personal palette. So I'm going to come over here and stripe this on the back of my hand. So see how it brings a little bit of that shimmer, which is a gorgeous, gorgeous color.
I love it.
While she does that, I'm going to get a separate brush and I'm going to show you how much more we can make it pop too by getting it a little bit wet.
Yes.
So I'm going to take a little bit of this. I wet my brush just a little bit. And here we go.
I love it. Wet.
Hard to see your hand backwards here. There we go. I'm like, I'm using the wrong end of the brush. Yeah, see how it just made it pop even a little bit more. Which is really, it's beautiful and metallic.
And I love to, you could also wet your brush like an angle brush or something and actually use it as an eyeliner. If you have more of that like a natural look, you could use these colors as actual eyeliners instead of all over the lid. So I really love the little pop with the Frisky, but I think I'm going to go in just a little bit right in the center with a little bit of a lighter color, which is the Heat. That's that pinkish color. And I'm going to go in right in the center with just a little bit of Heat to make the center. You could kind of see the center of my eye just popped.
Yeah, it made it just kind of give it a little bit more depth where you see that center popping straight up.
Right.
Gorgeous. Very pretty. Very pretty. And so while she does that, I'm going to take an eyeliner because I want my edges to be really dark. So I'm going to take a little bit of eyeliner and I'm going to buff it down in here. And then I'm going to take this in this corner here.
So I know that everybody's different when it comes to applying. I usually always do my eyes first just because of any fallout. Today we actually already have our foundation on and our brows. So next we do have a contour color inside the palette, and I'm going to be using that contour color to contour the cheeks and right around the rim of my hairline. And then I'm going to go ahead and contour right down into my chin area because I like my chin to look a little bit more chiseled and less, what do you call it, Martha? Less double chinish.
Less double of the double.
Less double of the double. You know what I'm talking about, girls.
We're trying to get snatched. That's what's going on. So I took that darker eyeliner and I'm going to kind of buff it out a little bit just so I can make this little corner pretty deep.
Okay, so I'm going to finish off my complete eye at the end. So I'm going to start to contour my cheekbones and everything right now. And I kind of just, I almost do like a 3, like a backwards 3, where I'm coming down. I'm starting at the top of the forehead, coming down the side of my cheek, and then coming down underneath the chin. And you could kind of see already how that contour is chiseling my cheekbones out. I have more of a rounder like face. Even when I smile, it really goes round, and I like more of that oval look. So I'm always contouring more at an angle to try to elongate my face a little bit more.
Folks, yes, you're not supposed to pull on your eye, but I'm older. And so when I'm trying to do this, my little wrinkly eyelids are moving with me. So I had to make them a little bit tighter. Okay, so I'm taking the eyeliner, and just sticking it in the corners because I want them a little bit darker. And then I'm taking the bottom and buffing it out just a little bit. Trust the process because it looks crazy, but just trust it.
Yes. And when you're blending the contour, I'm always blending out towards the hairline. Even when you're coming around the face, you're just going to follow the hairline around, brush up and back down underneath the chin.
All right, let me take some underneath. And then I'm going to just buff it out, and then I'm going to put the darker brown that's in the palette on top of it and buff it too. But I just want those edges pretty dark. So like I said, it's going to look crazy for a minute, but just trust the process. All right. So now I'm going to take, go ahead.
No, I was going to say this contour color is everything. Like it's just the right shade for anyone. And I love how it almost looks like a blush already. So you really don't need too much blush. Or if you just want that sun-kissed type of look, you could just use the contour.
Yes, for sure. It's such a good color. Okay, so I'm going to go in with this color right here, which is called Hottie, you know, because I'm trying to look like a hottie today. Hottie today with nowhere to go, but I'm going to be looking hot when my husband comes home and I'm sitting on the couch in my pajamas.
I have a dinner date tonight, so.
Do you? Then you'll look real
fancy. So I'm going to be ready to go 5 hours before, but it's okay.
That's so funny. So I'm taking Hottie, and this is more a compacted brush that we have. So I'm taking that brush and just kind of bouncing it in there, and I'm going to bring this all the way towards the bottom.
This is what that brush looks like that she's talking about.
And then I'm going to buff this out up here.
I love to use this brush. I love to use this brush too when you're going right underneath the eye with one of those other colors. I usually will wet it a little bit too, right before I'm going underneath the eye. Which I think I'm going to do now.
And I build it. I always add just a little bit of color and build on top of it, just because I like to get it buffed out. So I do a lot of blending and brushing and dipping because it's a little bit at a time.
Yeah, and I just wet that same brush that you're using, but I'm coming right underneath my eye and just blending out the frisky right underneath the eye.
All right. And I am going to connect the two colors right here.
This that blue splash though that is in this palette, woo!
Oh yeah, that's a good. I'm about to splash that.
That's a hot color. That's one of my favorite colors.
It's the process. So I'm going to take this blending brush. I tapped it a little bit again in that hottie color, and I'm just going to buff that out a little bit. Because remember, I don't like a lot of edges. I like more a lot of buffing. You know, even whenever I do a semi-cut crease, my cut is still kind of buffed out. I don't do like a really defined cut crease. Some people do, and it looks fantastic on them. I don't know. I just come from blend, blend, blend. When in doubt, blend it out. Right. And I'm going to bring it down here because I do want it to be smoked. So see how I brought that color down pretty low. I didn't keep it straight towards my line because I am going to put a little bit of that blue down there.
I love that. I kind of did the same too with mine. I just kind of smoked it right underneath.
So pretty. I like it. Okay. So now I'm going to take that flat brush that we have. It looks like this. It's a synthetic flat brush. I'm going to spray this bad boy. You can spray this with 10 years younger. I just happen to have Skintelligence next to me, so that's what I'm going to spray it with. And I'm going to take Splash, this blue color right here. And guess what? I'm going to splash it right in the center.
Nice. And she said that she just used our Skintelligence. You could use Skintelligence to wet your brush, or you could also use our 10 years younger, which is amazing to use on your brushes and to set.
And remember, I'm a builder, so I just take a little bit of color at a time.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start to use our mascara to really volumize my lashes, because I want my lashes to really pop because I have that smoky eye look. The smoky eyes can be as dark or as light as you want them. Mine are a little bit of, it's a little bit more of a lighter smoky eye, but I do want my eyelashes to still be voluminous and or voluminous, whatever you want to call it.
But so on this eye, I used a brush and I got it wet. But on this eye, on this one, just so that you could see that you can use it two different ways. I'm actually, again, this is mine. I'm going to take a little bit of this one with my finger and just show you the difference that you can get with the color. And again, I'm a builder, so I take a little bit at a time to build this color up. A little goes a long way, and I don't want to overdo it.
And I'm using, I'm actually using our Fiber Lush right now in black. And I really love to just like work it underneath my eyelashes and really build it out towards the end of my lash to really give me that full look.
So pretty. Look at that splash of blue. I like it. I like it.
Ooh, yes.
And I'm going to do the same thing. It's funny because we do have a lot of tips and tricks that are kind of similar. Instead of Flirt, I'm going to take Highlight, and I'm going to stick Highlight right here in the middle as well to add a little bit of depth and dimension.
I love it. Now, do you also use the highlight in the corner of your eyes?
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'm going to do a little bit of that too. Just because, you know, I did put a darker color in there, but I still want that corner to pop. So I'm going to take a smaller, kind of like a pencil brush, a real tiny little brush here. I'm going to get a little bit of color on there. I'm going to spray it. I'm going to dip it back in the highlight. And then we're just going to go right here in the center. I keep trying to do it in the camera, but I just can't. I'm sorry. So I have to keep putting my mirror in the way. I do apologize. It's just
I know,
out of habit, right? I'm trying to keep to not block the view, but it's hard, ladies. It's not easy. So I have that little pop of color right there, you can see. And now I'm going to take it up a notch. I'm sorry, I just have to. So we have this little liner right here. This is awesome. This is beautiful. This is blue as blue can be. And I'm going to take it underneath. Let's see if I can get my line straight.
You're trying to get super fancy with it.
I had coffee today already, so. And I had my little trim coffee in there because, you know, it's summer and I'm trying to be snatched.
Yes.
So try to get this line straight here.
So I'm going to go ahead and let my eyelashes, you know, dry a little bit. I just put the Fiber Lush mascara on both of them. I am going to finish it off with a eyelash, fake eyelash. So I'm just going to keep letting them dry. And I want to show you guys a little trick that I usually do. I have a little, like my top lip is smaller than my bottom lip. And I like to make them look, you know, pretty much the same. So I actually take the contour color in the palette and I'm going to use another brush that is pretty much like a concealer brush, a smaller concealer brush that's flat, just like this. And I dip it in the actual contour. And what I do is I follow the outside of my lip line. And I'll show you guys right now. You're going to be able to see.
Okay, while she's doing that, and I put that liquid blue, now I'm taking Splash again and just going over it and buffing it out. Love it.
So I kind of want to show you guys because I kind of look like the Joker right now. But I took the contour and I really built out the edge of my lip. So you could already see that I've already made it bigger and almost the same as my bottom. And I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side and really connect them.
Wait, you just used the eyeshadow?
What I'm using is the contour color on the bottom. And I'm just, because it's a matte shadow. It's matte. So it's not like I'm putting shimmer around my lips, but I'm using the matte and I'm just really building out my lip to look a little bigger.
Well, I'm going to do that too. I mean,
yeah, and I love it because it's like, it almost acts like a lip liner as well. So really, I don't really have to wear a lip liner if I don't want to. But I really love to just use that to really build out the lip a little bit more. And then you could even come in on the very bottom.
So building out the lip, okay, so a lot of people are probably wondering, like, what guide are you using? So if you look at your lips with nothing on it, do y'all see that like white little halo around the lip? So this, you see your lip color and then there's like that white little halo. That is a good little sign and a good little indicator of where you can put that contour color to make that lip look a little bit bigger. So just hide that little white line.
Yes. This has always been my trick to get my lips a little bigger.
So do y'all see that? Let me know in the comments if y'all see that little white halo. I'm gonna do that too.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put some blush on now. And the way that I usually put blush on my clients is I always have them smile. So that way I can see the balls of their cheek, because I don't want to spread the blush color all the way back towards the hairline. I just usually like the ball of the cheek to have blush color. So I just have them smile and I do a couple swipes, always brushing towards the hairline. And then if you get too much on your actual, because you could see there's a lot of product right now, you kind of just want to dust it off a little bit. And that way you don't place too much product on the cheek. But I love it because then when you smile, you can actually see where you placed the cheek color. All
right. So that's a great trick for this contour lip. I can already hear my DMs going off asking me about lip filler.
Hey, it beats $600 in lip filler, let me tell you.
Okay, so I got sidetracked with the lips. I use the splash over here above that liquid liner just to make it pop a little bit more. But I want to go back into the waterline here, and I'm going to make this a little bit darker.
And because I have more of a smoky eye, I'm usually like a cat eye girl. Like I love my eyeliner. But usually when I do a smoky eye look, it's already pretty deep, or the whole lid is covered with shadow. So I just like to just do a nice lash to finish off the look. So that's what I'm going to be doing right now.
All right, I'm going to get my lashes ready too. But my lips look already bigger.
Yeah, no, they do.
As if they needed to be any bigger. But hey, that's why I said my DM's gonna be like, girl, did you get lip filler today? Yes.
Everybody wants some juicy lips.
Right. I got it from the VIVA palette.
That is just my trick for everybody to achieve that look.
And what I like, so for me, when I put my lipstick on, that's how I usually put my lipstick on, is I cover up that white line. But you know, it's great to add a little bit of that contour color before I even put my lip color on, because that's going to do a couple of things. One, it's going to create that contoured look, but it's also going to help create that little barrier. A lot of people use the lip liner because their lipstick feathers a little bit. So putting that powder around the lip is going to help keep that lipstick from feathering. You know, sometimes as we mature, we just get those little fine lines around the mouth, unfortunately. But you know, it happens, 'tis life, and sometimes those little feathering things happen, so that will also help that as well.
So I really like that like wispy look, that natural lash look, but I do like I like them to be full. So we did have the 113s in the Motives Cosmetics lashes that you would always double up to give me that look. And so you could kind of see I did not use any eyeliner, but just the lash alone kind of closes out the deal and makes everything, or brings everything together.
Gorgeous. So I'm taking this little eyeliner, and I'm just gonna give me like a little small wing. Another trick that I do, again, because my eyelids aren't the same, is I do make my eyeliner on this one a little bit thicker, just to take away a little bit. I know that's crazy that I said it. I take away a little bit of that, the lid, just to kind of even them out a little bit. So this side I usually make just a little bit thinner. Good thing my hair kind of covers it up anyway. It's rare that this eye is ever like really on display. Y'all are going to know all my secrets.
I know. They're going to be like, Martha has.
They're going to be like, you know that girl, Martha, her nose is crooked. Both of her eyelids are two different ways. Her eyebrows are not even. Y'all can talk bad about me. That's okay.
But this is the beauty. This is the beauty of makeup, right? Like we enhance the features that we have, and they might not be perfect, but you could make them look similar or almost perfect with makeup. So everybody's always asked me, like, how the heck do you put on those lashes? I
On a
can't put
hope
on
and a
lashes for
prayer.
nothing.
Yeah, my lashes, this is a hope and a prayer all the time. I always say, this is probably the hardest thing for me to do is to put my lashes on. Um, this is probably everybody's hardest thing to do. I take the mirror. If you look, the mirror is below me and I'm looking down into the mirror, which is a good trick. And then I place in the center first. And then because I'm talking, I can't do it.
And I put glue on the lashes, but I don't drench the lashes. Really just want it on the very edge of the band. That way it dries. Yeah, that way it dries a little bit faster. It gets tackier faster. So that way when you go to apply, they're already sticking to the lid like right away.
Since I couldn't get it on right away. So it's you see how it's like very little bit that I have on the edge. You don't need a ton. Now it's going to be wet when I try to put it on, but I just wanted to show y'all again, like how much. I'm probably going to get it everywhere, but don't judge me.
Don't judge us.
You know, it's not always perfection, people, and that's okay. That's the beauty of makeup, you know, and what we do. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can, you know, if you don't like the look, you can wipe it all off and start all over. No one says you can't. And LaVerne, you put on your mascara before?
Yes, I did.
I personally put my mascara on after. Again, it's because of a quirk that I have. My eyelashes are like Snuffleupagus. Who knows who Snuffleupagus is? I'm old, so y'all might not know who he is. But his eyelashes are like straight down. So are mine. So I put my lashes on first, and then I put on my Fiber Lush mascara because I like to make sure that they stick together, that my real lash sticks to my false lash. So I don't have that separation. Some people will take an eyelash curler when they have those straight lashes and curl first, but because of the way mine are shaped, if I do the lash first, I have too much curl. I have too much curl, and then I can't get the lash on the lash line. So, you know, you're going to have to play trial and error to see what's best for you and your eyes. So one trick is not going to be like the best for every single person. You know, every trick is going to be, you know, what's good for LaVerne and what's good for me, maybe two different things. So I put my lashes on first, then I go in with the Fiber Lush mascara, and I put them together. You can probably see if you get real close, I do have a separation, and I push them together.
And I still kind of just do one more swipe, mostly at the corners of the lash and my own lash to adhere them together, just like you said. But with my eyelashes, I have like random eyelashes on the top of my eyelash lid. So if I don't put mascara on them first and I go to try to put the lash, it doesn't want to stick to my eye. So for me, it's again, you have to kind of figure out what your own eye does.
Yeah. So different tips and tricks, but you know, they're all going to help depending on how your eye is. All right. So she used her contour. She's ahead of me because I got sidetracked with contouring my lips.
She got sidetracked with that splash.
With that splash, I got sidetracked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to contour as well. And I'm going to use this contour little thing right here. And I start right at the top of the ear.
And I see that you're tapping it into the skin.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I tap and then I'll blend it out. Yeah, I kind of like to place the color where I want it, and then I buff it out.
Nice. And so again, there's different ways of doing it. But I love that technique. That's something that I never usually do. So I'm going to tap it in and then blend it out.
And I keep my contour more up here. I have a very narrow face.
Ooh, I love it.
So I bring it up here and I keep it right here. And even though you can't see this side of my face, I go over here and I do it too. But do you see the difference? Let me know out
Yes.
there. Do you see the difference between where I place the contour and where I don't have? So I just tap, 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 tap it up here. I don't put it in the center because I don't really need it in the center, but I put it here. And where you contour is going to be different for every single person. Not every single person is going to contour the same. I'm also, again, a builder. I tap a little bit and I build upon it. I don't just go in willy-nilly on the first one.
So I'm finishing off my eye, Martha, and what I'm doing is I'm actually taking Hottie, which is the deepest color in the palette, and I'm actually into the corner of my eye, like almost like an eyeliner, but I'm placing the Hottie, which is that brown color, right in the corner of my eye just to finish it off so it looks like I have a full lash all the way across.
Love it. Looks so good. So now I'm going to take the contour. And if you look right here, I'm going to press right here. Do you see this is where the end of my bone structure ends right here? So I take contour and I want to define that right there. You see mine all the time because my ear is always on display over here. So you'll see me tap it here to give my chin more of a chiseled look. So if you look how I created depth here, do y'all see that in the comments?
Yes.
Right now? Okay, and then I'm gonna take it, and I don't tap. Here I buff. Got to get rid of that little doubly chin, and then I go back to buff over here. Because girl, I have a little bit of a double chin. I'm a little bit on the thick side.
That's okay. That's okay. Me too.
My daughter, I always tell her, I'm always on her about the clothes that she wears and things like that because she's young. And she's like, Mom, I did not choose the thick thigh life. The thick thigh life chose me. All right, so I'm just going to take it back here in this corner and just tap, tap, tap. And then I'm going to buff.
I laugh because Martha's daughter's kind of almost like my daughter when I'm around her.
Yes.
And one day she comes out with these jeans with holes in them, and I'm like, those are cute. And Martha's husband's like, nope, take them off. I'm like, you can never leave your daughter with me then.
No, it's so funny. Okay, so see how I'm all chiseled up? My double chin is gone. I defined this back here. A lot of people don't even pay attention to this little edge over here of our face. But it does make a difference, especially if your face is a little bit rounder or wider over here. If you find that edge of that bone and just really contour there, it really does make a difference. So, or
if you have your hair up, a lot of us don't think about it, but when your hair's up, that's when it shows the most. So that's when you're going to really want to, pay attention to this backbone right here.
Yeah, because look at that side.
Yeah.
Girl, it's not really snatched
totally
like that. Okay, and now that's awesome. I'm gonna take this same brush with the contour. I'm gonna wipe it off a little bit. I'm gonna go into the blush color right here, and I'm not gonna put the blush in the balls of my cheek. I'm gonna put the blush over here more like on this high part. And guess what I'm doing again? Tap, 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 tap. What's that song?
Tap, 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 tap. I don't know. I'm the worst. I'm the worst when it comes to artists.
So
I know who Fat Joe is.
Right? We know who Fat Joe is. So I left this ball of my cheek empty. I am more mature than LaVerne is. So I want to bring my face up more. Okay. I want to bring it up. So that's why I'm going to put and tap, tap, tap this blush up here. I'm not going to put it on the ball of my cheek. So I'm going to tap, 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 tap up here because I want my face to go that way, I live in Texas, so the bigger the hair, the closer to Jesus. Well, the higher the blush, the higher the face, the closer to Jesus, I guess. I don't know.
She just made that up.
Totally a thing out here in Texas. Okay.
I'm going to finish off my cheeks with the highlighter, and I'm just going to go in right right underneath my eye and on the top of where I put my contour and my blush color. And I'm just using a flat foundation brush because I'm just going to kind of just tap it right along here.
And I'm going to take that same.
You can use a feathered brush to put the highlight on. I didn't grab my feather brush, I'm not going to lie to you. So I'm just using this brush that I haven't used yet. And I'm going to tap right.
You have different options whenever you do the highlight. So we're going to use this highlight color right here. So this one is kind of flat. It's more fanned out. You can do this in here and go across if you like. I have right here, it's very defined. If you were to touch my face, you can feel this high point in my face. So whenever I use a super flat brush like this, it misses this front part and this back part, again, because I have a higher point. So I have to use something that's a little bit more fluffy and more compact so that I can get that highlight right there. Y'all see it? Because it'll miss it. It'll miss it because I have like a little high point. So I'm going to do that right here.
And I like to just highlight like the tip of my nose so it pops a little bit more. And then maybe above my eyebrows. And again,
like to do this as well.
It's in the palette. So you have everything in the palette, from the eyeshadows to the contour to the highlight to the blush.
And I like to do this.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We're trying to make those lips kind of kissable. Okay. Now, should I do a bold lip or should I do a nude lip?
I'm going to do a nude lip since I did a smoky eye. I think you should do a bold lip.
Okay. So
be bold, girl.
Be bold. Should I do bold orange? Nah, that's going to contrast with that blue. I think I'm going to do this purple here.
Yes, do the purple.
I'm going to do this other purple. Give me 1 second, please. 1 second.
And I'm actually going to use our liquid lipstick in Savage because I feel like I'm going to be savage today. So it's more of a neutral color, which I love.
And I'm going to use one of our lipsticks. Okay, these are really awesome. And this one is very pigmented. And when somebody comes up to you and they're looking at you all snatched with your highlighter, and you're going to be like, what? This lipstick is Call You Maybe. So maybe I'll call you, maybe I won't. Most likely I
won't. Maybe. So I'll be savage and you'll be maybe.
Yeah.
And again, I'm going right over that contour that we did earlier and just blending the liquid lipstick over the top of it. And the liquid lipsticks are more of a matte finish, which I love, but I do like a pop of gloss. So I'm actually going to finish it up right in the center with our lip glaze in Bashful.
Okay.
These lip glazes are everything too.
All right, so I got Call You Maybe on, and you know I just can't just do one freaking thing. It's just not in my nature to do it. So we're gonna go a little bit. This one is called Concord. This is one of our liquid lipsticks.
Pretty.
It's funny how like our styles are so different and you can still achieve them with one palette, you know, whether it's bold or more, you know, natural.
Yeah. It is crazy. Like we kind of have two completely different looks and we achieved it all with that one palette.
The other thing I do is right here. All right. Because, you know, when you're laughing, I don't like to have that gap, you know? It's so weird whenever somebody has like this bold lipstick and their mouth's wide open and it has that gap. So just bring it and close that gap up.
Yeah, and then for those ladies that sometimes get liquid lipsticks or anything stuck on their teeth, obviously, you know, you could make sure your hands are clean, but I just kind of take my finger, I go right in the center, and you could see that the lipstick is on, and it takes off that center that might be touching your teeth, so that way you don't have any of that lipstick on the teeth or anything like that. So that's just a quick little tip. I think the craziest thing is when I see women with that lipstick on your teeth, and I'm the type that's going to say something, you know, just to help them out. But I sometimes forget too, and I'm like, oh, geez, I better do that little trick and wipe off some of the lipstick.
Yes, that is a great trick. I love using that with brides and things like that. Whenever they're like going to be smiling in lots of pictures, just make sure you wipe that inside out. I'm also going to put a little bit in the center. So we got Call You Maybe on. I told you on a mixer, I use like 20 different colors all the time. I hate when people say, what are you wearing? And I'm like, well, you got a pen and paper because it's like this is Concord. I put on the outside to kind of ombre it so it's darker on the outside. But I also take this one, you know, Call You Maybe. Well, this one, hey, you might type, so I'm gonna call you. So this one is one of the lipid glazes that we have, and this one's my type, and I'm just gonna put it right here in the center.
So pretty.
Because I gotta have like voluptuous lips, you know.
Yes. Y'all can see my fake lips right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thanks
so
to
don't DM me. I did not get lip filler. Oh yes, Veronica said this goes with my hair. So Veronica is my hairstylist. She's watching.
Yes.
And she convinced me to go lighter. So in the promo pictures, my hair is green. In the video I've been posting, my hair is purple. And today my hair is more like Cruella de Vil, right? So
I love it. I love it. You're like my spirit animal when it comes to dyeing my hair, because you know I'm just so boring sometimes. But
it's not boring. It's your look, and that's, you know, who you are. And it would be crazy if you came out with a purple hair color, but you could pull it off if you wanted to. But you always look gorgeous. You always look beautiful, and your hair always looks on point. So, you know, I think we've taken up enough of y'all's time today.
yes.
Oh, your setting spray. Wait, we're not done yet. I left my setting spray.
I had to spray. Here, I'll set you.
Thank you, because I forgot mine. It's back there. So that is our look. You know, we went bold, we went natural. We used pretty much one palette. We didn't like go out of the box. I just used another eyeliner, you know, is really all I added to it to make a really bold look. So you can use this palette for anything. You could take it for summertime when you're going out and visiting people. If you're going to the gym and afterwards you're going to shower and go maybe on a hot date like LaVerne has tonight. You can take this with you, and you can doll yourself up, you know, or if you're just going into work now, you know, you're no longer Zooming, but you're back at work and you want to do something quick and easy. This palette has really everything that you need in it. You don't really need any other palette than this one.
No.
But I do encourage you to get all the palettes that we have because they're all awesome and they have different colors in it. Like always, we do seriously appreciate spending your time with us. Y'all could be doing anything today, but y'all really chose to spend your day with us. And to us, that is very rewarding. We love doing it. So if you have any questions, comments, or anything, feel free to either inbox us, message us here on the video itself, share it. And we will see you ladies next time. Well, fellas too, because you know we all wear makeup these days. So we will see y'all next time. Bye, you guys.
Thank you guys so much.